So if you'd like, find a comfortable position. Relax your hands. Close your eyes if you're willing. Take a deep breath and be at ease. Imagine the breath traveling throughout your entire body, flushing it with oxygen, nitrogen, everything that's good and nourishing about the wind. Let it heal you. Let the breath heal you. Let it infuse your body with not only strength, but goodness, preparing you to share that goodness with others. Imagine a sphere of light surrounding you. This is not a sphere of protection. It is something much more than that. Picture the colors swirling like you're inside a soap bubble. All the light and love of the universe surrounds you. This bubble is not protection, but it is something better. It is peace. Something that can be shared with anyone who comes into contact with this sphere around you. The moment they encounter it, they feel at ease. They are as at ease as you are. Peaceful, comfortable, healed. How far would you expand this sphere? Would it fill your neighborhood, putting everyone at ease there? Would you expand it to encompass your entire town, your state, your county, your country, your world? Send peace and ease and health and prosperity into the field around you so that all may share it, so that all may feel peace, and that you be reminded of your power today to inflict love on others, even if they resist. Love them where they are and wish them well. Take one final breath and return. So the expression, to gird your loins, in literal terms, it means to put a strap around your waist and hips in preparation for battle. The point is to prevent your cloak falling off and your legs kept free for running when presumably fighting for your life. It's also where we get the word girdle. You can take that however you like. The verb gird is used 26 times in the Bible, each one in reference to a preparation for something difficult, or mournful, or sacred. I have an impression that we're about to experience all three. Primarily, it's a phrase meant to instill courage. And as we enter the year 2024, it's a phrase we should all take to heart. Now, it's not my custom to speak about politics, except for when it intersects with the existential concerns often raised by religion and spirituality. It is intersecting with them now, and in a way that shall be recorded in every imaginable history book in the future. Particularly here in the United States, but the same is also true in parallel form throughout the world, all of humanity is in the process of answering the questions, who are we? What shall become of us? And which ideology shall have the power to shape our future? I'm not here to say that one side is right or wrong, though I certainly have my opinions about it. I'm here to say, gird your loins. Prepare yourself. This is going to be difficult. There's no way around that. We already have an inkling of the ideological conflict we have ahead of us. For years, it's been building up a head of steam. We've seen the divide gaping into a chasm, polarizing friends and families into staunch positions from which neither logic nor facts can dislodge them. It will not be mindful, well-reasoned logic that gets us through it, or else that would have already worked. It will be the better angels of our nature which accomplishes it. It will be the better angels of our nature which gets us through. We are not ready for this. No one could be, even though we've been preparing for it for centuries. But we may compose ourselves with deliberate kindness, self-care, voting, contributing in positive ways to online discourse. We can be lighthouses. That is what all of world Scripture asks of us in this precarious moment. To be a dram of non-anxious presence in an ocean of anxiety and fear. For that is all it takes, really. A single birthday candle has the power to dispel an entire room full of darkness. Be that small light. Demonstrate kindness, patience, and benevolence and forbearance in your online exchanges. Those are the best place to demonstrate the power of being a light. People see it. They notice it. They may not comment, they may not click like, but they see it. I make a point of replying to online ugliness with deliberate, radical compassion and understanding. It's not easy. I frequently type something really angry and then erase it. I can't tell you how often I've done that. Sometimes I've even hit send and then quickly delete it, or edit out the more challenging parts, because I want to live up to my own principles too, but I am human as well. I get pissed off too. But just when I wonder whether or not anyone notices that I have spoken kindness to ugliness, just when I wonder if it's even affecting anyone or anything, I get a thoughtful message from someone who not only noticed it but took it to heart. And I realize that person probably represents others who saw that I was kind to somebody who was exceptionally unkind. So when you see me debating someone online, take note of the tone. That's what I'm trying to model, is how to be kind in the face of unkindness. And to think for a moment about what cycles does that end. I have a friend who is embroiled in a huge court case right now because he published stories online that are true, but not very flattering to an individual who is now very angry about it. And that individual was doing illegal things in the first place. So then my friend wrote about it, and now they're in court. Now there's all of this hostility, enmity, and it is now ballooned into a cycle of revenge upon one another. And he told me, I am not a person who turns the other cheek, as he was heading to the courthouse for the 50th time. And I'm like, if you had turned the other cheek in the first instance, what would your life be right now? What would you be modeling for other people who might be going through the same thing? Turning the other cheek sometimes feels like weakness. But I'll take weakness that causes me less drama any day. I try to compose my replies online as though I'm completely oblivious to their hostility, and I'm only seeing their wounds. It is hard. I'm not pretending like it is. It isn't. You know, this is a virtue that we all should aspire to, and I aspire to it too, and maybe 85% of the time I live up to the standards that I hope for. It's not all the time. So if you end up seeing some of those responses that are a little spicier, you can cut me some slack. I try not to. But I know that these people have noticed that I've actually reached them. I may have set an example for them about how to do their own online exchanges. It's not just online, but that's a place where things are most visible. That's a place where you can really model compassion. And I know if I were looking online at people's exchanges, I know which person I would want to emulate more. We all need a bit of scripting support from time to time, so demonstrate that. And it's less effort to be kind, really. The burden is lighter by one chip's weight on your shoulder. And that chip on your shoulder is heavier than you think. Let it go. You don't need to win. You don't need to beat your opponent into submission or retreat. You don't need to best someone. Drop a minor love bomb of thought and move on. Keep scrolling. You don't always need to stick around to make sure that it's germinated. They're like seeds of trees under whose shade we will probably never sit. Do it anyway. And as we walk stridently into this 2024 year, gird yourself with the awareness that your words and actions are so much more powerful than you realize. They are seen by so many more people than you think. You have such a sphere of influence in this day and age that no one has ever had before. Take advantage of that power. We're in the modern age, and it is a double-edged sword. Take advantage of the good edge. Embolden yourself with the knowledge that a loving presence, a loving response to hate, literally is the lesson of turning the other cheek. It has the effect of dissolving much of the antagonism we experience, because that antagonism isn't founded in anything substantive. It's like a house of straw. It's founded in fear, born from a lack of communication and understanding. It often withers in the face of a steady and confident kindness. You are the weapon you seek in this battle for the soul of our age. Wield it with assurance. I believe in you. I know that there are people here who are struggling and frustrated and afraid of what tomorrow will bring. And I am one of them. And I try to reassure myself that the trend of compassion in this world for several hundred years now has been steadily increasing. And you watch, there's patterns here. You know, many of us have seen how things like Confederate statues have been getting taken down over the past several years. And some people are angry about this because they're like, no, that's history. Well, yes, that's history, but it's also being placed in a location of honor. And is that what we want to do? And so you have a battle over that. And in truth, it's probably better for these monuments to be taken down and put in a place of learning rather than a place of honor. But what's interesting about that and how it alludes to this pattern is that the majority of those statues were placed after civil rights movements were rising up in the country. They weren't placed right after the Civil War. They were replaced after people of color got uppity. And suddenly, a new Robert E. Lee statue goes up. But those statues have mostly come down now. Not all, but a surprising number more than I would have thought only 15, 20 years ago. And now we're seeing that cycle again, because we've had all of these civil rights that have come our way over the past 2 or 3 decades in particular. I know I'm a person who benefits from those new laws and new recognitions. And here we are again with a backlash. Why do you think people do it? It's because they're afraid. They put up statues and write legislation to make the world the way they felt more comfortable. So they are the ones who are suffering. They are the ones who are the most afraid. We think we're afraid? Try being somebody whose world has changed without their permission. They're the ones who are in need of compassion and understanding. And ignorance is forgivable because it's only a lack of knowledge. Hate is difficult. But if you throw love at it, as hard as that might be, as illogical as that might seem, as humbling as it might be, even embarrassing, that is what will break the cycle. And we only have charge over what we ourselves add to the world. So be that birthday candle in a dark room. And take heart from the fact that there's a pattern here that has shown itself over and over again. They might build a statue to tell us we can't have more love in the world, but that statue will eventually come down and be placed somewhere where we can learn from what has been done and learn how love actually moved us forward so that we can do it again and maybe again. Love has always increased on this planet. Remember that when you're afraid. And we will be there again.